Donnie and Dolly. The team is supported by ableauctions.ca. Closing your business? We can help.
Tuesday and all of today's guests, including Milan Lucic, standing by, brought to you by the Bayside Oceanfront Resort. An exciting spring and summer season awaits at the Bayside, including a soon-to-be-completed outdoor pool fully equipped with ocean view cabanas, alongside the #1 ranked coffee shop in Parksville, the Bay Cafe. Call 250-248-8333 now to book your reservation and mention Donnie and Dolly for 10% off your nightly room rate. Also, be sure to grab some Donnie and Dolly merchandise now on sale at Bayside. Sunday in Finland, Team Canada beats Germany 5-2 in the gold medal game at the World Hockey Championships. Team Canada's roster, of course, included East Vancouver's very own Milan Lucic of the Calgary Flames. His 7-year contract is about to expire. He'll be a UFA in the summer. At least that's what's scheduled. And Milan joins us now. Milan, thanks for doing this, sir. How are you?
I'm good. How you guys doing?
Very well. Nice to see you. Hey, Milan, what made you decide to go overseas to play in that tournament?
You know what? I actually wasn't asked by Team Canada to go. I called them and asked to see if they had a spot for me. Once I heard that Uyghur and Toffoli were going to go, I reached out because I'd never been a part of it before. And yeah, it was, anytime you're on Team Canada, you have a chance to win. And, that was the reason why I wanted to be a part of it.
What are we looking at in the background here, Milan?
That's the trophy.
Oh,
that is the trophy.
That is the trophy?
That is the trophy because I'm in Calgary and the Hockey Canada headquarters is here. So I was responsible for bringing it back. So I'm keeping it for a few days.
Awesome. What did that experience do for you, Milan?
It was great. It was, it was a lot of fun. It was, just to be in a world international tournament, in a different country, different cities, seeing different nations, fans, the way they cheer and all that type of stuff. And also, like I said, I'd never been a part of Team Canada, so I wanted that opportunity. And, other than Toffoli and Uyghur, I hadn't played with any of those guys before. So, it was a lot of fun getting to meet new guys, new faces, new teammates, going through the whole process of becoming a team. It was really funny too. There's a lot of young guys on the team where there's, some of the guys are closer in age with my oldest daughter than they are with me, which is kind of crazy when you think about it. But all in all, it was such a great experience. We started off in Budapest and then Riga and then finished off in Tampere, Finland. And then on the 21st, friends and family were allowed to join us. So I had, my wife, my kids, my mom, my brother, and some other family friends that, came out for it. So it was great to experience all that with all of them as well.
I'm sure you'd like to go through the entire roster, but who didn't you know much about that you now have more respect for as a hockey player?
Well, to be honest, when guys were coming up to me and they were introducing themselves with their first name, I was like, oh, I don't know who is this guy? And that's, you know what? That's no disrespect. That's just because, I'm older out west. They're playing out east, and we only see him once or twice a year. Having 3 kids now, I don't watch as much as I used to, just because I'm running around being an Uber driver with hockey and swimming and dance and all this fun stuff, as you guys know, of being a parent. Yeah. But yeah, you know what? I would say the guy that maybe I didn't know much about that probably impressed me the most was P.O. Joseph, the defenseman there in Pittsburgh. Yeah. I really liked his game and how he stepped up for us. Him and Tyler Myers ended up being our second pairing, and they did a great job, shutting the other team's offensive guys down. So I would say him as my underdog, but I learned a lot about all those guys, and we were a team of a lot of really good players, and that's why we became world champions.
Milan, your 7-year deal is up. You're 34 years old. You're a UFA for the first time in a long time as well. Talk a little bit about if you become a free agent on July 1st, Milan, would Vancouver be on your list? Would you like to play for the hometown Canucks?
Well, I knew you were going to hit me with that one, but you know what? I think the process has changed in the last 7 years of being able to talk to teams and
Yeah,
and
right, right.
and all that type of stuff. So I haven't really gone over it too much just yet with my agents. I just because I've been in Europe, just focusing on winning the World Championships, and to be honest, these last 2 days I've just been kind of just soaking that all in. But now that you mention it, I just kind of I'm gonna have to go through all my options and see what's the best fit for me. One of the reasons why I did want to go to the World Championships was because I wanted to have fun, playing hockey again. I wanted to have fun being because I knew we were gonna have a good chance to win. I wanted to have fun, being on a winning team again, and you know to me that a lot of that will go into my decision as a UFA. First off, I have to see what my options are, and then and go from there. And obviously, I've said this before, and I'll say it again. It's always a dream for a hometown boy to play for his hometown team. So, would definitely listen to what they had to say if they came calling.
Milan, there's a quote from you from your time in Edmonton and Calgary. It wasn't fun coming to the rink anymore. Talk a little bit about the past 7 years. And you had a big contract. And Milan, it's tough in the Canadian cities. You got the internet, you got Twitter, you got all that stuff. Talk about your 7 years in Edmonton and Calgary.
Yeah, I mean, as a competitor and a proud person, when you sign a big contract like that, you want to live up to it. You want to be the best that you can be to show that you're worth what you signed. And don't get me wrong, I believe I earned that contract with how I played up to that point. But to be honest, from the day that I got to Edmonton, from day one, I would say, there was a lot of frustration. I think I put way too much pressure on myself, and then it was kind of like one of those, analogies that I like to use. It was like I was in quicksand. The harder I tried and the more I did, the more I sank, and and then even more frustration built up, and then anger built up, and all that type of stuff. So, in a way, just kind of thinking about it and talking to you guys about it right now, it's almost a relief
Yeah.
that the 7-year contract is over, because I don't have to really think about it anymore. But yeah, that's probably the best way to describe it all.
Yeah, and Milan, what people are like these days, or even back in the past, people are going to say, "Come on, you're making millions of dollars a year. It's hard to feel sorry for you." But it sounds like, in a strange way, understandable way, it was a burden for you. Have I got that right?
Yeah, you definitely got it right. And don't get me wrong, I made some great relationships with some great people, and I got to learn the city of Edmonton and the community of Edmonton. I got to do the same here in Calgary, and I enjoyed living in both. I enjoyed being an Oiler. I enjoyed being a Flame. But like you said, when sometimes it doesn't, money doesn't solve all those problems. It still has to be enjoyable. And, talking about, going into this next UFA, next chapter of my life, that's a big thing for me is where do I feel it's going to be the most enjoyable for me to go to the rink every day.
See, if you would have signed with the Canucks in 2016, all this would be, we wouldn't have to talk about this today.
Yes,
right?
Yes.
Today's game, your style of play, is it still a fit? Because I'll tell you what, Milan, I watched the playoffs, especially early on. You saw players dropping their gloves more than they have in the past in the postseason. Is your style of play, and I know it just doesn't involve fighting, is it still a fit in today's game?
I think so, definitely. I mean, if you look, all the good teams, they're still team tough, whether they have what you want to call a modern day enforcer or not. They're still tough. They're still team tough teams, and if you look at it, the teams that make it through and have deep runs into the playoffs are usually the bigger and stronger teams. And I like to use Tampa as an example because they were right there. They were right there, right there. And one of the things they did is they got bigger in their back end, which made them harder to play against, and they bolstered up their fourth line,
Yep.
and that's what got them over that hump and made them champions. And if you look too, Colorado last year was a big, strong, heavy team, and you look at it now, Vegas and Florida, they're two big, strong teams, and when push comes to shove and you're in the trenches and all that type of stuff, it's it's being hard to play against, and sometimes having that little bit of that extra weight, that little bit of that extra meat, that gets you over the hump, and so I think it's still still a big part of the game.
What's it like watching Matthew Tkachuk and Sam Bennett, your former teammates in Calgary, have all this success this season?
It's been great. I'm real happy for them. I've texted both of them congratulations every round that they've won. Excited to see them, playing the way that they've have this playoffs, and having success and getting them all the way to the Stanley Cup Finals. Obviously, two guys that I had like I said, relationships that I built in these last 7 years. Those are two guys that I really enjoyed playing with. So I wish them all nothing but the best here in the Stanley Cup Final.
Milan, no Bantam draft. Big part of the Vancouver Giants off to the NHL. You really were a great story, one of the best stories for local kids. What do you say to those kids that don't go in the Bantam draft and aren't there quite yet? Don't give up, because Milan didn't give up and he got there.
Yeah, for sure. Just the main thing is just keep playing. Don't let a Bantam draft or what you talk about discourage you. There's a lot of guys with the same story that were drafted in the Bantam draft, but they played because they loved the game. They kept playing. Myself, Shea Weber wasn't drafted in the Bantam draft. Jamie Benn, wasn't drafted in the Bantam draft, and those are just two guys on the top of my head. And my main thing is just Dean Lombardi told me this in LA when I was with the Kings, and he said, don't ever lose that little kid inside you, that little kid that plays in the back alley or in the frozen pond, and just always play because you love the game and play for the right reasons. And you know what? And also you got to believe in yourself. And if you don't believe in yourself, no one doesn't matter how much somebody else believes in you, but if you don't believe in yourself, you're never going to get to where you want to go. So, that's what I like to try and tell kids, and have fun with the process. It's a lot of work. You got to put the work in to get the result. But at the end of the day, it's, it feels good, because then you have a trophy in your kitchen like I do.
Well, and thanks for bringing the trophy on
nice.
the show. We appreciate it. This has been great, Milan. All the best in your future, and congratulations. And again, thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you guys so much.
You bet.